Hello and welcome. My name is Robert Vasquez and you are watching Bare Bones Media. This channel is dedicated to exploring our community in Pacific County and the wider Pacific Northwest. We will be talking with public officials, entrepreneurs, and new developments in our community. If you have people that you'd like to recommend on this channel, well, feel free to leave a comment or send us an email at barebonesae@gmail.com. So today we're interviewing Sue, the new mayor, right? So,
right.
And how long have you been in that position?
Since January 1st, yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
it's literally
Really new.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why don't you go ahead and give us a little bit of an introduction to
Sure.
who you are and all that?
Sure. So as far as who I am as it relates to the peninsula, my mother and grandfather were both born in South Bend. Mom grew up in North River. This is where we came. But we've also owned property here since the 60s, some property on Loomis Lake. And then we kind of got busy raising kids and whatnot and weren't out here quite as much as I was in Vancouver, Clark County area. Okay. And got very involved just in community service. And that always evolves into, would you like to join this board or this commission or this? So I was on the Clark County Executive Horse Council. I was on the Habitat Ordinance, the Parks and Trails Ordinance. I always ended up being the chair, I guess, because I can't stop talking. And was chair of the Animal Control Advisory Board.
Yeah.
So a lot of involvement, kind of learned how government works and what it takes to get some things done. And sometimes it's just patience.
Right. And remembering some of our past conversation, this is when you picked up your skills with the tractor, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, we had a horse farm. Friends of mine were wanting bigger diamonds and things like that, and I just wanted, can I have a rototiller? And then, okay, the perfect thing for me is a tractor. And I have a Kubota, and I learned to use it. I'm pretty good with it.
Yeah, those tractors will definitely hook you. So, anyways, tell us a little bit about the office of the mayor and what is it really all about? You know, like my kids know Mayor Humdinger from Paw Patrol.
Right.
That's obviously not like.
Well, it's just a microcosm of the national scene. So there's the legislative branch, which is your city council, your executive branch, which is your mayor, and then your judicial branch, which is, our hearings officers and our city attorney. The office of mayor is that the job is to implement what the policies that the council decides. Okay. So they're going to decide on code changes and your planning department to some degree on what kinds of rules are we operating under. And then it's up to the mayor to make sure that those rules are enforced or implemented in whatever way, or let's say that they want to rebuild the boardwalk. That's a decision of the council. The budgeting suggestions are brought forward by the mayor and voted on by the council. Okay. So once that's been approved, then the mayor works with staff to make sure that project happens. So that's the bulk of it. Yeah. I'm also in charge of all the employees of the city that is, I don't know about in charge, but they are my responsibility.
Right.
And I view that as a taking care of them kind of responsibility. I'm just like terminally the mother type. And each mayor has a different view of it. Our system here is a council strong mayor system, which leaves the mayor to have a lot more power in making decisions than in, like, say, the council and city manager.
Okay.
It's where the city manager would be doing a lot of that administrative stuff without necessarily the guidance of the mayor. My philosophy on how I implement that is quite different from how Jerry did. Okay. But I think that he was an incredibly good, effective mayor in a lot of the areas. But I think in the relationship with the council, I'm more interested in letting the council lead in the decisions. That's kind of their role.
Yeah. And so, from everything you're saying, it sounds as though you have like a lot of being able to work with other people that, have leadership positions.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I've done a lot. And I used to work for a communications company, you know, where it was all personal development, you know, and learning how to clearly communicate. So I think that's really 90% of it.
Yeah. With that, I mean, we've got a little bit about your background and what is the role of the mayor. So how does this all come together? Like what like actually brought you to like be like, I'm actually going to go for it. I'm actually going to run for mayor, and you know.
I blame my husband.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what you do.
I'm a husband, so I understand.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. When we decided that this is where we were going to be full time, he started teasing me. He said, "You know, you should totally run for mayor." I was like, I want to be retired.
Yeah.
I just want to be retired. And then I found that I couldn't be retired because there's so many wonderful projects here and so many needs that need to be filled. So I just started getting involved, and as a result of that, kind of almost by accident, ended up being on the council.
Yeah.
When it came time to, it looked like Jerry wasn't going to run again. Mm-hmm. And I think we were pretty much in agreement that I would be the next one to step up, just because I've spent a lot of time educating myself. I have my advanced certificate of municipal leadership. I had some experience, but I was also open to somebody else taking that role.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, I really like being on council.
Yeah.
So when it looked like nobody else was going to run, I threw my hat in, and then it turned out that Patrick was also running. So it was a stressful campaign, partly because right before the election I was diagnosed with breast cancer. So and I had my surgeries, and I just finished my last surgery, hopefully. Wow. And so that was a little hard, but it's just like, I'm a person who throws myself into things. So it was good to have the distraction.
It's kind of a lot to, deal with, changing and, having a whole new office and position to go into, let alone all of the campaign stuff. And as I recall, when we were opening up this unit for the drive school, you came in and we talked a bit, and you talked about how you're doing meetings, right? You were having like open meetings with people that can come ask questions, right?
Yeah. So I did all throughout the campaign, had coffee every Sunday morning, come by, ask any questions that you want to. So I plan on doing more of that just as a kind of mayor's interface with constituents.
Right.
I've been a little busy just, I like to call it drinking from the fire hose, trying to get up on all of the meetings I just signed up for by being elected.
Oh, yeah.
Which I can have imagine. A lot of them.
Doing, videography stuff, a lot of the times was working conferences and had to go here and set up here. And I can't imagine having to do that as the mayor, because that's probably just compounded by like 10. So
Yeah. But it's interesting. I mean, each one of them, I think the biggest thing that I'd like to accomplish, and that is teaching the citizens of Long Beach how their government works, how their city works. Because some people don't understand all the constraints that we're under. Like, they'd like this thing to happen, to come in and say, why can't the water bills be less? Okay. If you've got an hour, I'll tell you why.
Right.
But it comes down to that our water system is the same type of system you'd have to have in a much, much larger city.
Right.
You'd have many, many more people to help pay for it.
Right.
And we are mandated to make it pay for itself.
Right.
So we can't subsidize that. Mm-hmm. And it's just the way government works. And so having people understand how difficult it can be to make a tiny little city run just like a great big city, but without the resources.
Yeah. And I found that, like, in leadership, it seems to be that almost 50% of the job is education. Mm-hmm. That you're explaining things and helping other people understand, how things work or what they need to be doing, and how that position works.
It's tough.
So I hope that you're enjoying this interview. And these videos don't just come out of nowhere. There's a lot of time and process and production that goes into it. So, which is why we have sponsors. And today's video is sponsored by Bare Bones Aesthetics, which is our kind of cousin site to Bare Bones Media. But there we kind of just do graphic design, videography. And of course, even if you're not interested in those things, all we would really ask for is a like or a follow. Come check out our Instagram page or our Facebook. Join us there and help support us so that we can continue to produce these things for our community. Anyways, back to it. Now, as a mayor, you get a little bit more of like the experience as to like what people are trying to accomplish and do in the community and all that stuff, and what people want to see happen. Or have there been a lot of, overlapping topics or something like that, things that people wanted to see more of or do more of? I know that's still relatively...
Right. Well, on the campaign trail, there were a number of, small personal requests, like the blackberries are growing through my garage. That's a simple fix.
Yeah.
Hopefully that's happening soon, as soon as the season lets us spray those blackberries.
Yeah. Well, you don't come in with the tractor as the mayor.
Well, I actually offered that on one site, and I don't know if legally I can do that, but we're working on that.
Yeah.
It was like, I could fix that in like 45 minutes. Please just let me go. The crew's busy. Delegating what the crew's priorities are is a little tough.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of things like that people would like to see. But I think all in all, people were pretty happy with how things are going. I mean, really, our water and sewer bills are our most frequent issues, and if people look at what they cost around the state and I could explain it to them, I wish I could fix it.
Yeah.
I totally agree. We do have a subsidy program for people that are struggling with that, and we can reduce it by, I don't remember what the percent is.
Right.
Yeah, I think that would be the main thing. I know that some projects that have been talked about for years and not done, one is the dog park. And there are some people that think that the beach is a great dog park, although legally you can't have your dog off leash on the beach. But it's not great for little dogs that are really tasty to our eagle population, our very healthy eagle population, or to the other big dogs that are out there, and then give them a tumble. It's usually the small dogs that start it, though. So. Anyway, so a fairly simple thing to solve, and we're working on that right now. There will be a dog park. And the exact site of it isn't known, but it'll be off Bolstat down by the boardwalk.
Oh, okay. That's awesome. I know that we have a pretty healthy dog community out here. One thing that I've noticed is as soon as that sun comes out, everybody's out and they've got their dog with them. So
exactly. And then our shelter needs a place to get the dogs socialized a little bit. And that's really not a bad location for them. They can walk them and get them a little tired down there and then get them out. And so we're going to work with the Humane Society on that. I have not had that meeting yet. So, but we are doing a fundraiser for them. Yeah.
So looking forward, you're this position's just starting. We're in February now. So, have there been certain things that have stood out to you as like you're really enjoying this part of the office, or things that you're looking forward to seeing happen in the future?
It's crazy, but I'm enjoying most of it. I got thrown into, I think, PACIMA, the emergency management, was one of the first things that I got thrown into, and I'm very intrigued by how we can make that better.
Yeah.
Obviously, we have the big tsunami threat that everybody's worried about, but really wildfire threat is a bigger one, more likely to be a problem. And so I'm working with them on hoping to get a grant to help us limb up and thin out the trees on the dunes so that firefighters can fight a fire that gets into the trees. Right now we can fight them easily on the dune grass. But once it gets into the trees, it's a whole nother thing.
Yeah, I remember being out there, it's like last year, and seeing a whole patch that got scorched. So.
Yeah, well, a lot of times they do that on purpose to let people know. So at the beach accesses, when you see a burn like that, it was a controlled burn. Okay. And the idea is that people realize how flammable that grass is.
Right. Especially for fireworks season.
Right.
So now something I've been curious about, we've got a handful of other mayors on this peninsula. Is there a lot of communication between those positions?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, quite a bit. We have one other mayor on the peninsula.
Okay.
Ocean Park isn't incorporated.
Oh, okay.
So they don't have a mayor, but we have Mike Casanelli in Ilwaco. And then also in the north area of the county, Raymond Mayor Dee Roberts.
Okay.
And then in South Bend, it's Julie. And I really just got to meet with her the first time a week and a half, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And it's great, I mean, we get to compare notes. But the Association of Washington Cities is really good at getting us all together. We just did the campaigning on the Hill, lobbying for positions that are going to help small cities. And then there's a mayor's exchange that's coming up in a week and a half.
Yeah.
And I'll be going to that. And then there's also a small cities consortium where we can talk about our commonalities dealing with small cities.
Right. That's interesting. Yeah, because even though we're all kind of pretty small places, the dynamics between those places are also very, very diverse, very different. So, what we have going on here isn't necessarily the same thing going on in Ilwaco,
right,
let alone Raymond. So,
but there are probably more commonalities than differences.
Okay.
So that's good. They definitely sometimes need the support of because we're kind of the economic center of Pacific County.
Right.
And if we can do anything that lends support or brings attention to the rest of the county to get them what they need, we're all better together.
We've talked a little bit about things you're looking forward to and enjoying. What about the challenges? Like, what are there certain challenges that you've kind of encountered that you're just like, figuring this out? Or
well, I was really worried about the lobbying end of things, and I really don't think that's going to be a problem. It's not like our lawmakers are there to help us, and we aren't always going to agree on everything.
Right.
But if I ask for something, they listen, and they want us to be successful. So I think I'm less worried about that now.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's good. So obviously you're kind of I don't want to say talkative, but open to talk to. So what are some of the areas where people can kind of get in contact and, create that dialogue, or at least see what's going on in the city and in the mayor position and all that?
Well, one of the things and we're just getting it accomplished for our new city council, is tours of our facilities in the city.
Oh, okay.
And that's something that we're going to make available to the public, kind of figuring out how that could work. On an individual basis, we can do it anytime. As a group basis, we'll coordinate something. But I'd like to hear from the public on, would you like a tour of our water plant? Would you like a tour of our sewer composting facility is state of the art. You really should see how it works. My phone number is on my Facebook page. Just call me.
Okay.
I am a very public person. I have nothing to...
Right.
I don't guard my private life. It's like, hey, whatever. I'm usually out in the community anyway. So if you want to talk to me about anything, my door is wide open. But
right, so we'll have to put out your Facebook there.
Yeah, there you go. But also, when I came on board, I wanted to meet all of the employees of Long Beach. And I had a very short period of time to get some of those interviews done before my surgeries and things. So I got to most people, and the people that I haven't, I will get to you, I promise. But it was great. I mean, we have such amazing employees in Long Beach, and they were all so open to having somebody ask them, are they happy with what they're doing? What can we do to improve? And I guess it was the first time any mayor that in near remembrance, like for at least 40 years, has ever sat down and asked people. So.
Yeah, I was going to say, so like 50% is kind of just education. The other half of that is really just equipping everybody else to do their position.
Exactly.
Ensuring that they've got everything they need.
Absolutely.
It's the big difference between good leadership and poor leadership.
Yeah.
Good leadership wants to support everybody and ensure everything is running smoothly. Well, poor leadership tends to just want to lead.
Yeah.
I'm the boss.
Yeah.
So,
I have no interest in being the boss.
right.
I like I say, I'm more of a nurturer, kind of come by, okay, how's it going? Are you, getting everything done that we need done, and the stuff that isn't happening, should somebody else be doing that?
Right.
How can we do it?
Important conversations to have.
Yeah.
So if people want to contact you and see what else is going on, best place is Facebook, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Facebook is a good one. Call the city hall.
City Hall.
I think I'll probably give my phone number out.
Do we have a
tell
City
them
Hall
they can.
Facebook page or anything?
Yeah, there is.
Yeah.
There is a City Hall Facebook page. There will be a new website going up soon. Our website, it wasn't searchable, so it was difficult when you go in there. And so it's in design phases. It should be, well, they'd hoped to launch January 1st, but when I went in, I had some critiques of what they've done. So now it's getting revamped again. Sorry about that.
No, it's all right. I'm sure it'll be good when it's up. So
Yeah.
Well, anyways, I want to thank you for making the time and coming in and sit down and chat. So.
You bet. Best community in the world. I mean, just what happened with the Crabbers tells you. I mean, it happens in a smaller scale all the time here. Anybody needs help, the community rises to the occasion. I grew up in a tiny town. I love it.
Yeah. And I really hope that we can use this to help spotlight things and conversations and all that stuff. So
thank you so much. Thank you for all you do.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah.
All right.
Appreciate it.
We'll see you.
All right.
And that wraps up our interview for today on Bare Bones Media. I really hope that you enjoyed it. And if you have people that you would like to see on this channel, well, leave a comment or send us an email at barebonesae@gmail.com. Thanks for watching.